Pushcart champion! Cool runnings, awesome film. So, hello guys, and I'm going to look at more grand hauler build. And it's a lot of chrome parts, i.e. tanks, steps, bumpers. So we'll look at getting them bits and bats done. I'm not going to be as instructional as I've been with the chassis, because if you've come this far now with the chassis, then you should be able to start managing this a lot more on your own. So to get the build done quicker, because it's just cab parts and all principles are the same, we'll get it together now in a few little sections. There's not much. I do have a multifunction unit for this, so I won't be installing that yet and showing you how to install that, because not all of you will have a multifunction unit to go in them. You might just be building trucks. So I'm going to build it up as it is, the white, unpainted, just then it's a built kit, and then I'll pull it back apart. Well, not the whole thing, but i.e. bits I'm going to replace, like I'll probably end up swapping the gearbox out and bits and bats all throughout next year. I'm never in a rush to get my trucks done. On the first section of the part that we're doing with all the chrome tanks, steps, etc., it does show fitting the MFC, MFU, the little control module to go in these steps. If you fit in an MFC and you feel you can do it, then go ahead. I'll be fitting this after I've built the kit, like I said, and then I'll pull it apart and I'll reinstall the MFU. I need to get a couple more wiring looms just for my roof lamps and the extra lights in the rear bumper. So I need to get a couple more light sets to go into my MFU, then I can run all them and have it all lit up where necessary. So we will just be building it up as kit form. So you can ignore this section here, go straight onto this section, which is the same as the previous section but without the MFC installation. It's the same principle, and we're going to be making two of these. So I'll make one, and I've already got this made up. Glue is required at parts here. Now there's various glues you can use. I have a Loctite 60-second glue, just a normal Loctite super glue, Loctite, ordinary super glue, and I have some Yoo-hoo, but that's a little bit flexible for these little bits and a bit too stringy. So careful when filing all your pips off the chromes and breaking it off the sprues, because you can peel the chrome, but not to worry, because Tamiya do a chrome paint, so you can always pick a small pot of that up and do the touch-ups. But sometimes you can get away without it because the parts are hidden, or you might not make a mess of it. All parts filed, ready for glue. Just missed that bit there. First things are these, and all you're doing with these is just gluing them together. So it looks like that. It's just a nice, really thin line of glue. You don't want loads that when you press it together it all squeezes out. You might find your glue will just strip the chrome from your paint, or if it doesn't, it will just leave a horrible residue mark which you won't be able to get rid of. So just very, very, very lightly, not thick. And just want to pop them together. And my favourite tools, these little clamps. Now we can let that go off. So 4 of the larger 22mm tapping screws. And tank. Make sure this is the right way around, which will be like so. Your little mounts to hold them to the side. Now we've already fitted some on the chassis previously, but I think that's where you would put the MFU box, so that's why that's already been pre-done. But ignore that. Just pop these into here. Now these are tapping screws, so you are going to create the thread inside here yourselves. So these are tapping screws. So basically you are threading them into the holes in there. And then you want to flip that up. One of these trays for the MFC, and just a couple of smaller tap screws, and we're just going to tap those into there. So the two 8mm tap screws in like so, and then the same as we've just done, because they're tapping screws, there is no thread, so they won't just screw in. It will require a bit of force as you feel it biting through. And then repeat the process on the second one. So the one we've just glued, I should have set now. Same again. Apart from this time, this is going to be bolted directly. Apart from this time, this one's going to be bolted directly to the brackets that we've already fitted, so there's no need to pop them onto this. However, so the two smaller 8mm tap screws again. Now when I pull this apart, I will show you guys how to install the MFC and stuff. It's really dead simple. The MFC is just a plug and play, unlike some of the modules out there which can get really technical. And if you're not all up on electronics and stuff, like myself. I mean, a lot of people think because of the editing and stuff that I do, I'm some computer whiz kid, and I know nothing, absolutely nothing when it comes to electrics. And on the other side, just here, directly opposite, and thread screws straight into the holes. Now these are a bit easier because they're thread screws, so it's coming along more now. We've got the steps fitted, so later we'll get the MFU fitted once I have them wiring looms and stuff, and then I can take it apart and show you guys who are interested in fitting MFUs to these. So now we're on to the tanks. There's one I've already pre-made, so I shall show you with this. Again, same principle as we did with the little plastic things here on the step there. Real nice and simple, little bit of filing, just trimming the edges up, and a little bit of glue and a clamp. Easy peasy. Right, so there's one I made earlier, Blue Peter style. Them 4 pieces. So yeah, them 2 together. 2 little holes in there for the tapping screws. Just drop them in there. Screwdriver. And now for the glue bit. So all you want to do is run, again, a nice thin layer of glue around there on the edges, and then these end caps of the tanks. If you look inside, there's a couple of little lips and some grooves cut out of the edges, so you want the lips to line up with those. If you can see that in there, there's a lip down there. So a thin layer of glue. There we go. And that's all for that, and let it set. Now on there, it doesn't matter about it running to the inside, because it will run to the inside of the tank. What you don't want it to do is run out of the edge and actually onto the tank. So we'll just line those up. And I'll just let that go off on there. Little dabs in the pips where it's going to hold. Nice thin layer of glue around the edge. Now coming from the bracket come 1, 2 and it's your third hole for the starting point of the tank. Underneath the 2 longer ones, and just really secure that to the chassis now. Now in the manual again, these are little bits that you would like to Loctite to the chassis as required, but I haven't Loctited any nuts or bolts on this yet, as it will be coming apart to remodify or add upgrades, etc. So we've done that one, then all we're going to do, exactly opposite, is repeat the process with this one. Back to 32, after fitting the tanks and getting the tanks done up, and now you have your little 5th wheel coupling where you can hitch and unhitch your trailer via the little arm, and that'll just go on the back of the chassis, and then we'll get that fitted and jump the bit we've already done, and there's the bumper, fitting the rear bumper. Now in there it does show you, it's the MFC part, and it shows you fitting the LEDs. Now I've got the LED looms for the normal lights and stuff, but then there's the ones here where there's an extra few and some on the roof, which I do need to get or make up. Small little washer spacer thing. The washer, just to the nut in the back, just to hold that together. Got your nut in the back, followed by the plate. There is a washer between there, which this sits over, and a small washer on top between the screw, and then we'll just tighten that up. Little ball joint, so we'll put the little screw in the groove in the back, which is already cut out for you. So hold that in place and just pop the ball joint in there, and your little Tamiya cross wrench that come in the kit, you can use that just to nip that up. So that's that. So on the chassis, just in front of the rear arches, you have 4 holes there. Now the manual, we go into the front of the 2. And the smaller screws, the rod will go along there up to your 5th wheel, which will probably sit here somewhere, and then I'll just pull to release the catch on the 5th wheel, so then your trailer can hitch and unhitch. But I'll show you that when we get to it anyway. Also on the tanks, and these little holes, and then you get like the filler caps, and they're just gonna glue into there. So a little dab of glue on the bottom around the edge, and then just let those set. Now they only go in one way. Again, there's like a little lip on them, but if you look at the patterning on the front, you'll notice there's like a little pattern to the bottom, so keep that to the bottom and you'll be good. So just let those go off. So ignoring the lights in the manual, for the rear bumper I'm going to take the little lenses. Well, these are sitting into the 3 at the back, and again these only go one way. I'll just trim those up. And your lens cap, now just hold those in there. Now the top. Now these are just to hold your bulbs in place if you require bulbs. But it's good to have them in there, then you don't lose them anyway. Tiny tap screws just to hold that together in the back. These, again, they're just to hold the bulbs in the back. Now although you see 4 holes, there's only 3 screws required. The next part on 35 with the bumper is lenses and the registration plates. I personally won't be fitting them yet, so I'm sure you know what you're doing with those. You just follow the manual carefully and you can proceed with them. Now this section here also says to leave off if using a pole trailer. Now I have a pole trailer for this, and basically there's going to be a hitch in replacement for that, so but I can pop that on there for now, I suppose. It's not a problem. So just before we fit the bumper to the truck, there's just a couple of little jobs to do, and that's number 36. We're going to construct the actual 5th wheel coupling and the slider plate. Well, this isn't actually a slider, but the plate that it mounts on, and the arm to go to the little mechanism that we've just fitted a minute ago, and then we'll pop the rear bumper on.
You're coming or not? What's that?
Quick coffee break and a lovely cake made by my beautiful little girl. Buttercream. I'd love to share this with you. Right, so 5th wheel, there's a couple of ways of doing it. There's this way again, which is required with the MFU to put in the control switch to flick the 5th wheel catch, and there's your standard 5th wheel with the mechanical mechanism which we fitted. So we're going to go with that one until I fit the MFU, and then we can come back and see how it's all done with an MFU. So the simple way around it for now, little ball joint. Now you want little spring, small screw through the loop on the spring, that's all. And just screw this into here. Your trailer's hitched, it'll level out, and it just basic. So this is your basic 5th wheel, and once the rod's on there, so the arm from the 5th wheel to 5th wheel coupling, and a couple of these little ball joints. Now I've showed you how to do these early on when we did the servo arms, and it's in your manual as to where to line them up so you have them at the correct length. As you can see here in the manual, there's the chart, and then all we're doing is just winding them up until they are as they are in there. Now with this, there is one that goes one way, like the ball facing up, and the other one with it facing down. So a ball can pop in from the top and the other one can pop in from underneath. So I'm just going to file these off. Fifth wheel plate, ridges to the back, and what I'm doing is 2 holes in the plate on the bottom over these holes here. And then I can just get those screwed up. Screws just thread straight into the plate. The plate's been tapped, so can just, no need for nuts on the back, and that just holds in there. Now the spring I mentioned earlier that I'll show you, as you can see it returns to that position, so when the trailer comes up, the trailer can slide up, comfortably put the pin in, and there it will rest flat with the trailer, and then when the trailer is released it just goes back to its normal position. So that's what that spring's there for, and make sure you have it in the right way, guys, or it'll end up like the other way, the wrong way around, and you won't be able to hitch your trailer up. So we've got a few little bits done there, so now it's just a case of putting all this onto the chassis. This is the so just quickly pop that onto that ball joint under the fifth wheel, like so. Just lining this up with the 4 holes at the back of the chassis. Make sure you have it on the right way around. And again, it's all self-tapped, no need for fiddling nuts at the back or anything. Just directly into the chassis. These 2 ridges here and the 2 holes in the back of the bumper, and we're just going to screw that to there. Just line those up. I'd actually forgot about that, but we'd previously put nuts in the ridges in the back, so be careful not to lose those nuts out of there. And that's basically what those 2 screws are screwing up to hold that on. So if you may have lost them out there, or you may not have put them in there, but on the back of that cross member requires 2 nuts. So that's all for this one, probably a long one. Next episode we'll look at getting all like the cab started and the interior of the cab put in place and stuff like that. So if you like the video and you want to see more builds or just more RC trucking in general, then give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know please. I'd love to hear from you, and I do my best to get back to most of you. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Turn on that notification bell to be updated of all the latest videos, and feel free to go to Facebook, like my page, Scotty555 Babe, RC Trucking UK. And if you are a genuine RC enthusiast and you've got your own trucks and you want to share pictures and videos and stuff, then request to join my group, and that's also Scotty555 Babe, RC Trucking UK, and that's on Facebook. And in there there's loads of like-minded people who are there to share the hobby with, and it's a great group, great bunch of people, so we'd love to have you on board. But for now, that's all, and I'll catch you in the next episode when we bring it even more to life. So thanks guys, take care, happy RCing, just in general have fun with your builds.